Kristy, you're stupid. You're stupid, Kristy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want them to divorce. They've been together since they were 14 years old. A lot of y'all think that, oh, this is a deal breaker. Half the time, y'all don't even be knowing that men cheating or women cheating on y'all. A lot of y'all don't even have the capacity to think that the cheating has nothing to do with you. If you're unhealed and you're unexperienced in relationships, a lot of y'all take that personal and you become hurt and you become bitter like Miss Kristy. And if you truly, truly love someone and he came to her first, which he did, to say, I need to separate. Give me some time. I'm sure there were other conversations that were had that she just was not listening to and didn't take him serious. And now the whole entire marriage is broken down.
Oh, excuse me, miss. I need a man. I need a man. I need a man.
If you know you wouldn't be able to tolerate that man's bad habits if they got any worse, good chance that you and that person are not compatible. I think that most women have a pretty good sense of the man that they're in a relationship with. Whether it's cheating, gambling, drinking, women often know who they're going to marry. They often underestimate just how selfish that man can become as the years go by. I think a lot of women are natural born optimists, delusional in the cutest way possible. They genuinely believe that if they just hang in there and they keep putting their best foot forward, that eventually things will get better. Some of the classics. Well, when we have kids, I mean, he'll probably stop cheating then, right?
You really been fucking doing me dirty after so many fucking years that I motherfucking helped your ass. Not even a fucking thank you that I got for your bitch ass.
When you're dating someone and you see a red flag that you know deep down that you could not tolerate if it got any worse, I personally feel like you should just nip that relationship in the bud. But if you're in love and you really, really, really want it to work out, tell him your concerns. Give him a timeline. Give him like 3 to 6 months to see whether he actually puts in effort to change his behavior, to change his bad habits. However, if you try to have a conversation with that man about your concerns and that man hits you with the, you're just overreacting, honestly, it's not even that big of a deal. Like, of course I drink this much. I have a crappy job. Of course I break things when I get angry, Susan. I had a traumatic childhood.
Not sexy, honey. Dump him immediately. Here, use my cell phone.
Cheaters. When a man cheats on you, that is not in any way a reflection of who you are as a woman, a person, an individual. Men cheat, people cheat for whatever selfish reason they have made up in their heads. All men cheat. That is a phrase that the girls, gays, and femmes have all heard before. And if you believe that is true, that's fine. You're entitled to your own beliefs. However, nowhere does it say that the woman has to stay. But for whatever reason, a lot of women respond to infidelity like this.
And I am telling you, I'm not going. You're the best man I've ever known.
And if you're afraid that you may fall under the category of women that forgive their partner after he cheats on you, we can solve that real quick. Give me a second. If you cheated on him, how would he react? Would he be like you, listening to a sob story? Would he be forgiving and understanding? Or would he be packing a suitcase, walking out the door? You just need to ask yourself, would he be so forgiving and loving and understanding if the roles were reversed? Stop that real quick. When I'm talking about cheating, let me give you an example. Let's say that you are engaged to a man and you found out last week that he cheated on you. And now you have to make the decision between whether you are going to break things off there and then, or whether you're going to take a chance on him, trust that he will never harm you this way again. Let's say you end up asking your married mom for advice. And your mother, she says to you, this doesn't have to be the end. It was just a slip up, a mistake. There are multiple marriages that have been able to survive infidelity. And the couple, their bond is now stronger than ever. Now, your mother could actually be trying to give you relatively good advice. Let's be honest. Most of the time, if a woman tells you, infidelity isn't that big of a deal is because she's experienced it herself. So yeah, when she says that there are marriages that can survive infidelity, she's talking about her own marriage. And let's say that her husband cheated on her 3 times tops, and they were actually able to get through and survive infidelity. Whether that was through therapy, Bible study, he started balding and he got a beer belly, so now he can't pull women like he used to. Erectile dysfunction, so he can't get it up, so he can't pull women like he used to. For whatever reason, they were able to get through infidelity, and now they're stronger than ever. Now, the reason why I would caution every woman from accepting that advice is because you have no idea how often a man is going to cheat on you. Because I know that usually when women say that their husband cheating on them isn't a deal breaker, that that's not worth getting a divorce over, I know that they're hoping at most that man cheats 2, 3, 5 times tops over a span of a 40, even 50-year marriage. Or they're hoping the man has like just one affair. And after the man has had his fun, that he'll come back to his loving, doting wife, and that his slip up, his moment of weakness, will simply be a past memory that she can easily sweep under the rug.
This your husband, though, girl. This your husband. And you gonna let somebody like, this a nice looking man. We gonna let somebody come take this? It ain't like that. He has to see something. I'm trying to see something. I'm trying to feel something. That's it. And the fact that they've been together for so long, that's the whole reason why I don't want them to separate. And I really hope that all these women that are bitter and damaged, I'm Team Kristy, and you up over there pushing that bitterness. I saw what he did. He looked gone. But he'll be right back. I hate when people don't love people through their mistakes, but you say, I love you. But lust is very different from love. And when you grown, you understand that.
Well, good for you.
That's very, yeah.
But this is why I say when dating men or dealing with men romantically, never underestimate how selfish that man can be and how much that man can stress you out. Girl, if you forgive a man who cheats on you, that could end up being the only time he ever cheats. Or he could cheat on you 2, 3 more times. Or you could end up with an Offset or a Stefan Diggs. Girl, your husband could end up being the kind of man who just has to take a chance on every nice piece of ass that crosses his path.
Sensational.
Hustlers, you're dating a boss man, one of those business-minded hustler types. Now, let's say you generally admire people who want to start their own business, but personally, you prefer that your husband, that your partner, have a stable job and chase his dreams on the side. I'm not saying being your own boss is a bad thing. A lot of people say, be your own boss. Don't answer to anybody. But a lot of people aren't as vocal about the reality of being your own boss, running your own business. You could put all your effort into your business idea, and after 3 years of hard work, you could end up walking away only making a profit of like $1,000. And that's not anything to be ashamed of. You did your best. We even have celebrities who have failed businesses. Girl, look at the Kardashians.
I will not be rich.
For whatever reason, as a woman, you just know deep down that you'd prefer to be with someone who isn't all about hustle culture. Please do not let any man convince you that if he just works hard enough, uses all his skills, knowledge, expertise, and has access to all of these mentors and coaches, that there's no way in hell that his business won't flourish for 10, 20 years to come. Do not let yourself get swayed. It's good to chase your dreams and aspirations. However, a man that does not know when to give up on his dreams is a very dangerous person. But even though this isn't the person you saw yourself dating, you saw yourself with, you don't want to be a downer. So you're trying to be optimistic. You're thinking, well, if his business doesn't work out, I mean, he'll definitely go back to a 9 to 5, right? If we're behind on bills or we have kids to take care of. And that could be the kind of man you end up with, a sensible man. But you could also end up with a very, very passionate man, a man who will not stop chasing his dreams, even when he has 4 failed businesses, even when you guys have filed for bankruptcy twice.
You remember our wedding vows? For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer?
I must have blacked out because that foolishness would have never gotten past me.
Alcoholics, drinking. You've started to notice that 3-4 times a week, he's really chugging those bottles down. Now, you don't like this, but you try to brush it off. He's young, he's just having a good time. You don't want to be a downer. And let's be honest, if you tell the average person in their 20s that they may have a drinking problem, they're gonna get really defensive about it. They're gonna be like, of course I drink this much, Susan. I know I always use the name Susan. Of course I drink this much, Susan. I have a crappy job. And it's true. There are a lot of people who drink heavily in their 20s to cope with their depressing or stressful job that barely pays enough for them to live on. Then, as they enter their 30s and 40s, earn more money, they become more stable, they have a higher standard of living, they have a better lifestyle, they tend to cut back on the drinking. The same thing happens with people who use Mary Jane. As they get older, they tend to cut back on their usage. But there are also people who don't slow down. There are people who keep drinking the same way they did in their 20s, well into their 40s and 50s. And here's the thing, when someone in their 20s is getting wasted, people usually explain it away. But when people see someone in their 40s and 50s getting wasted, girl, at that point, people just see an irresponsible drunk. We have people who have problems, but they are also very high functioning with their problems. But we also have people whose problems cause them to act very erratic. It makes them make poor financial decisions, become violent. So if you know that you can't handle that person's drinking, smoking, exercising, gambling, if it got any worse, you and that person are probably incompatible. And speaking of gambling, gamblers, the casino, playing cards, online sports betting apps, horse racing, slot machines, buying lottery tickets, and one of the most socially acceptable ways of gambling, playing around in the stock market. We live in a capitalist world. Unfortunately, saving money and working 2, sometimes even 3 jobs isn't enough anymore for retirement. But if you know deep down that you're uncomfortable with someone making rash financial decisions in the name of making it big, you probably need to end that relationship. Because right now, it's all good and dandy. You know, he's putting $200 here, he's putting $300 there. It's chill. Fast forward to when you have 2 kids and this man, he's gambling away your 401k like it's Monopoly money. Fathers, husbands, boyfriends. Think about how many of them just basically threw money into an open fire when Trump came out with that dumb, stupid scam of a cryptocurrency, and they all invested into it. I bet you a lot of women thought, oh, well, I don't really know anything about finance, but my boyfriend or my husband, he seems to know what he's doing. Meanwhile, their partner's over there doing magic tricks.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
I think that if you see a red flag now, that you should deal with it now. And if the person you are dating is genuinely trying to fix their bad habits, then that's great. But if you bring valid concerns to that man, and that man is like, you can't tell me what to do,